Welcome to the National Civil Rights Museum's and Imagine America podcast. My name is Ryan Jones, and today we have our featured guest, Mr. Spike Lee, an Academy Award winning. Yes, sir.
Yeah,
come on, brother. What's going on? Welcome, Mr. Lee. It's a pleasure to have you
Spike.
here. Spike. Today we have honored to have guest Spike Lee, Academy Award winning filmmaker whose groundbreaking work has reshaped filmmaking and cinema, has inspired national conversations around race and representation and culture. Spike, what was the impetus for bringing forth one of the most audacious body of work in film?
I wanted to tell stories that, in a lot of ways, have not been told. I grew up in the era of the black exploitation films, and I enjoyed them, but I knew that was not going to be to live long because once those films stopped making money and the studios were just repeating the same things again and again, black folks stopped going. So when I decided to be a filmmaker, I knew that independent cinema would be the way to get to Hollywood. So that's what I did.
Yeah. And you also branched out. Your body of work is so versatile, from working with the films, when you've got films like Do the Right Thing, Mo Better Blues, Crooklyn. You also ventured into documentary forms. When we look at a film like Four Little Girls or When the Levees Broke, how did that change the overall way that you wanted to tell those stories and what you wanted your audience to see?
It really didn't change because the way I approach it, I'm a storyteller, whether it's a narrative film or a documentary. So it's just a different form of telling stories. So it was not like a big thing like I had to go through a whole bunch of changes going from back and forth. For me, it's fundamental storytelling.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And when you've got docudramas like Malcolm X, where we talk about his leadership, what we knew who Malcolm was, but your film humanizes who he was as a man.
Well, that's D.
Yeah.
Denzel Washington.
Right.
I mean, he did the damn thing. I mean, that performance, I mean, it has to be one of the greatest biopic performances that's ever been done.
Yeah. Yeah. When you look at some of your more recent work, when you look at a film like Black Klansman, and you were talking about the time of the films that you grew up on in the late 60s and early 1970s, how does the character show the code switching and how being black in America requires so much energy to show up in a racist world?
Well, we've always had to make a way by hook or crook. You know, when stuff is systems, society, countries that set up against you, you know, we maneuver.
Yeah.
You know, we gotta do what we gotta do, you know, to make it happen.
Right. You were awarded the National Civil Rights Museum's Freedom Award, and since we're at the National Civil Rights Museum, you had an opportunity.
Right here in Memphis, Tennessee.
Right here in the Memphis, Tennessee. And you
had like the Ohio State? The thing? They do the for Memphis, Tennessee?
It's a thing. It's a national trend that's setting.
All right.
And what did it mean to walk through the space of the National Civil Rights Museum, to be in the sacred, holy ground in which the apostle of nonviolence, Dr. Martin Luther King Jr., had his last breath? And how does a museum like this continue the legacy in a time in which there are attempts to rewrite and to ultimately erase this history?
Well, this is my second visit here, and this is holy ground. And just the fact that a museum was made in the same building, the same location as the assassination of Dr. Martin Luther King. And we have to tell our history. You left out. It's history, herstory.
Absolutely.
You gotta say both. Come on now. History, herstory. In a lot of ways, the sisters, you know, They're lapping us.
Yeah.
Especially with this election.
Amen.
Obama, brother Barack had to speak on it. Brothers are slacking in support of our sister. Now, we gotta wake up.
And so, talking about the elections and the political process, what is some of the things that we can encourage our new generation in which they can become involved in the issues in their local governments, their local communities, not only on who's going to be voted as the commander of chief, but as well as in midterm elections in local communities? What's a way to, what are some things that people can explain to young people about getting involved within the right to suffrage?
Well, number one, we have to register to vote. If you don't register to vote, you're just like, you're not happy. Yeah. You're not helping. Yeah. And there's just so much that it's all about education.
Yeah.
I mean, the reading levels of our young sisters and brothers,
Yeah.
It's a lot of work has to be done.
Right. Yeah.
And this holy ground, this museum, they're doing a job, because you can't walk through here and not learn about the sacrifices that our people made, and white folks too, who lost their lives in the pursuit of freedom and justice in this country. Yeah. And this election coming up, got, as our sister says, forward, not backwards.
Absolutely.
Forward, not backwards.
Yeah. When you think back on a young kid growing up in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh, the People's Republic of Brooklyn, New York.
People's Republic of Brooklyn, New York.
Brooks in the house.
On the shoulders of the giants, of folks like, you grew up in this community in which that produced likes of Adam Clayton Powell, Shirley Chisholm.
Shirley's broken. Adam's
Yeah,
Harlem.
Carl. I understand. It's different boroughs. And
in fact, before it was Harlem, USA. This Brooklyn, we
sure,
peace and love, but it's happening in Brooklyn now, not Harlem no more, not as much.
Right. And when you go into this new generation of activism and organizing, what advice would you give to the person in which you began? You got your first start in this.
Those hypothetical questions I really don't answer, because I'm the age I am. I'm not going back to the raggedy kid running the streets of Brooklyn.
Yeah.
But I keep going back to this election.
Yeah.
And it's not just here in the United States. The whole world is looking what's going to happen on this election day. Not just here in the United States, the whole world.
Yeah.
Especially Russia.
As an avid sports fan, you're always seeing the new shift in how to have your voice heard on activism. You see it written on the courts, they're on the helmets, they're on jerseys. And many people feel that this was something that's new, and unfortunately it wasn't. When you saw the likes of the Muhammad Ali's and the Kareem Abdul-Jabbars, the Jim Browns, Arthur Ashes, how do you see athleticism playing a role in social justice movements of today?
I think a lot more can be done. Here's the thing, my brother, we just got work to do.
Yeah.
All across the board, we got work to do.
Yeah.
And we got to make that decision that we want to put the work in. Yeah. If you don't know who you are or what you do, you don't put the work in, it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
athletics, I mean, across the board, you have to put the work in.
Sure, sure.
That slip and slide, you know, that's not going to get it. It's not going to get it, I think.
What was so ambitious about the film Black Klansman and the overall message that you wanted to convey to your audience?
The thing that was amazing about that film was a true story. It's a true story, and I didn't believe it at first when it was pitched to me. Then did my research. Oh man, this thing really happened. So it was a way to combine the seriousness of the subject matter with humor. And then the ending is not funny at all, where we go to Charlottesville and connected. Because David Duke was there in Charlottesville, the real David Duke. And that quote by the president, you know, very fine people, stuff like that. So that was that film hit a button.
Yeah.
Hit a button.
Yeah. I think of one of my favorite films growing up that you produced and directed was Get on the Bus. And so when you look at we're 30 years past the Million Man March, do you still see that same sense of community?
No.
And so how can that change?
I don't have the answer for that, but you know, we're the urgency, I don't think is there. And again, I keep going back to this election, and you know, young black men, they got to show up.
Yeah.
You know, put our sister in the White House. Because it's going to be close.
Yeah.
It's going to be very, very, very close. And you go this way or that way, forwards or backwards, and we can't afford to go backwards.
Can't go back. Can't go
I
back.
think.
Can't go back. Ladies and gentlemen, our followers out there, thank you for tuning in to the National Civil Rights Museum's Imagine in America podcast. Academy Award-winning filmmaker and author, one of my heroes, Spike Lee.
Oh, you're leaving out the Hall of Fame.
Hall of Fame, Spike Lee.
What's that?
Here at the National Civil Rights Museum. I'm Ryan Jones.
The Naismith Basketball Hall of Fame.
Today's episode is brought to you by the National Civil Rights Museum, located at the Lorraine Motel, the assassination site of Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It chronicles key episodes of the American Civil Rights Movement, examines today's global civil and human rights issues, provokes thoughtful debate, and serves as a catalyst for positive social change.